In this lesson, you as the teacher will introduce to your students basic engineering processes. This includes research, design, and development. Your students will be divided into small groups and study certain images to identify specific problems, and then using the engineering knowledge to design a potential solution for the problem, and then using their skills to build the design generated to solve the problem. What is engineering or engineers? Engineering is the process of creating specific structures, products, or systems. An engineer is a person who does the engineering. Engineers solve problems with their inventions. Engineering is by its very nature a creative profession. If you like the question, explore, invent, discover, and create, then engineering is a potential profession for you. In engineering, you will learn how to think like an engineer. You will acquire logical thinking and critical analysis skills. In simple terms, engineering is problem solving. If you like to solve problems, you require information analysis and the ability to see where the problem lies. Therefore, in this module, it allows students to explore how this can be done with simple project activities. What is human-centered engineering? Human-centered engineering brings the human being into engineering. So when we think about the future of engineering education, we think about more than just the technical. We also need to think about the mindset. We want students to consider the human being as they develop new technologies. We want students to be able to identify what the real problems are and how they can use engineering to solve these problems. This module is a basic introduction to engineering for all students. Students will have hands-on activity as it is more interactive, thus making it interesting for the student. As part of this exercise, students will study a real-life problem in an image format. So for the practical exercise, for this project specifically, we will study 3 basic steps in engineering process. These are research, design, development or building or prototyping. So in the research part of the engineering process, students will study 2 different images that were given. And then they will use their engineering skills and knowledge to identify the problem and then develop a solution for it. So in the figures we've seen earlier, and again in this image, is a river on Malekula, a truck loaded with people crossing the river. So when we study these images in more detail, we identified what the problem is and the effect on the people and how could this problem be solved. So in the case of this image, we believe that it requires a bridge. So we look at 6 different bridges here. So for this exercise, we look at the 3 most common bridges, and these are the beam bridge, the truss bridge, and the arc bridge. Looking at the 3 bridges in more detail and identify the design or the best option to consider. So assuming our students selected the truss bridge as the best option for this, we will now design and then build a prototype of the bridge that we have selected. So the first thing that we need is a blank paper, a ruler, and a pen for the design process. For building the prototype, we need pieces of sticks, ruler, a kind of a cutter, either a knife, and a glue. Firstly, we use the blank paper and the ruler and draw a straight horizontal line. This represents the bottom coat. And then we drew the vertical supports. We give this some estimated lengths and the number of pieces of sticks that we need to build. And then we drew the top coat. Give it a length and the number of pieces of sticks that we need. And then we drew the top coat supports. Give it a length and the number of sticks that we need to build this. And then we drew the bottom coat supports. Give it a length and the number of sticks that we need. So once we are happy with our sketch for the design part of the project, we will move to building the prototype. The first thing that we will be cutting will be the bottom coat, which is 28 centimeters. So we measure it, cut it, and if you see, we need 4 pieces. We need 4 pieces of sticks to build the bottom coat. So once we have all the 4 pieces of sticks, we move on to the top coat. It's 16 centimeter and we need 4 pieces of sticks also to build the top coat. And then we cut the vertical support, which is 9 centimeter in length, and we need 6 pieces of stick to build the vertical support. We need 16 pieces, not 6, but we need 16. So once we have the vertical support, we'll look at the top coat support, and it's 7 centimeter and we need 5 pieces. Once we have all the 5 pieces, we move on to the bottom coat support. They are also 7 centimeter and we need 10 pieces of sticks to build it. Note that the design that we are looking at right now is one part of the bridge. We have to double this to build the other part of the bridge. So once we have all the pieces of sticks cut, we are ready to move on to the next stage, and that is to start gluing all the pieces of sticks together. So the first thing that we start with is the bottom coat. We require 2 parts to the bottom coat. One part is for the front part of the bridge and the other part is for the other side of the bridge. Now we move on to the top coat and glue the parts together. We also require 2 parts for the top coat. Next part that we built is the vertical support. For the vertical support, we will require 4 parts and 8 additional supports that we will not be gluing it together. Once this is done, we glue the bottom coat with the vertical support. We are now creating one side of the bridge. Once all the vertical supports are glued, we add the top coat and also glue it together. Once this is done, we have completed one side of the bridge. We will repeat this step for the next side of the bridge. So firstly, we glue the bottom coat, the vertical support to the bottom coat. And then we add the other vertical supports. And then we add the top coat. Once everything is glued, we now have two pieces of each side. Now we have to connect these two sides together using the bottom coat support. So we add all the 10 bottom coat supports and glue them together to one side of the bridge. Once this is complete, we add the other side of the bridge and then also glued them together. Once it's complete, we move on to the top coat support. Add all the pieces of sticks and then start gluing them all together. Once we are complete, the prototype is complete. Thank you for watching the video.